It happened during a family dinner. A regular Sunday evening, the kind Beverly insisted on, as if gathering under her roof once a week somehow kept everyone bonded. We sat at her long polished table, candles flickering between wine glasses, roast chicken, and strained smiles between us. Her husband Glenn asked about traffic. Leah, my wife, passed the mashed potatoes. Everything looked normal. But underneath it, I could feel it, that tightness in the air. That edge. Beverly had been watching me all night. Not directly, but through sideways glances, through questions about work that came with a tone. Still doing engineering? She asked earlier, like she couldn't remember what I did, or didn't think it mattered. I answered politely. Leah didn't say anything. Halfway through dinner, I got up to refill my water. The pitcher was by the kitchen island, just a few feet behind Beverly's seat. I walked past her, giving space. No bump. No touch. Nothing physical. I didn't even look at her. But as I turned back toward the table, it happened. She stood up. I barely registered the motion, just a blur of cream-colored silk and sudden fury. Then her hand landed across my face. Hard. The sound cut through the room like a whip crack. I froze mid-step, my glass sloshing. My cheeks stung, hot and immediate. But the real burn came when I looked around the table. No one moved. Glenn lowered his eyes. Leah stared at me, blank-faced. And Beverly, standing tall, shoulders squared, looked at me like I'd soiled her carpet. Don't ever come that close to me again, she said. You think you can disrespect me in my own home? I didn't even touch you, I said, stunned. You invaded my space, she snapped, and sat down like nothing happened. I turned to Leah. You saw that. She didn't flinch. You startled her. I blinked. Startled? Leah. She slapped me. She thought you were too close. She hit me. She was defending herself. I laughed once, bitter and short. So I'm supposed to apologize? She didn't answer at first. Then, like it cost her something, she said, just say sorry so we can move on. I stood there, pulse pounding. Move on from what? Your mother just slapped me in front of your whole family, and you want me to apologize? The table was dead silent. Beverly picked at her food. Glenn cleared his throat and looked out the window. No one came to my defense. Not even my wife. That's when I knew. This wasn't just a toxic family dynamic. This was betrayal. I set the glass down gently. I'm not apologizing. Eli, Leah said through her teeth, don't make this a bigger scene. I'm not making anything. Your mother assaulted me and you're acting like I tripped over a rug. Please, just sit down. No. I walked away from the table, my footsteps echoing through the hallway. I didn't slam the door. I didn't shout. I just left, got into my car, hands trembling as I started the engine, and sat there for a long time without moving. I stared at the reflection of the house in the windshield, at the perfect lawn, at the porch light she'd had custom installed last year. All of it looked so manicured, so put together, but inside it was rotting. My face still stung, but the real ache sat deeper. This wasn't about Beverly anymore. It was about Leah, about the way she didn't flinch, about the way she defaulted to her mother without hesitation. She didn't even ask if I was okay. I pulled out my phone and called Jared, an old friend, now a private investigator. The kind of guy you call when things need to be done quietly, efficiently, off the record. He answered on the third ring. Eli, I need a full background check. On Beverly Keene. He paused. That your mother-in-law? Yeah. What happened? She slapped me. Leah told me to apologize. Another pause. I'll get to work tonight. I ended the call and sat there in the dark, headlights off. I wasn't angry. I was awake. The house was dark when I came back. No porch light, no warm glow from the windows. It looked like it didn't want me there, like it was siding with her. I stood on the porch for a long second, key in hand, before unlocking the door and stepping into silence. Inside, everything was still. The hallway smelled faintly like lavender detergent and whatever perfume Leah had been wearing earlier. Familiar, but not comforting. I dropped my keys into the bowl near the door. The sound echoed more than it should have. She was in the kitchen. I saw her through the doorway, standing with her back to me, arms crossed, barefoot on the cold tile floor. The dishwasher was humming behind her, too loud for the hour. You just walked out, she said flatly. She slapped me, I replied. She felt threatened. She's 71. Leah turned then, arms still crossed, expression unreadable. Don't act like you didn't know how this would go. You've never gotten along. That's not the point, I said. This time she hit me. And you acted like it was nothing. She exhaled and leaned against the counter. I didn't want a scene. So you let your husband get humiliated in front of your entire family. She rubbed her temples. Eli, come on. No. We're not brushing this off, Leah. She didn't respond. The hum of the dishwasher filled the space where something human should have existed. I walked past her and poured a glass of water. My hand was steady. That worried me. I should have been shaking. I should have felt something other than the sharp, detached awareness. Like watching a car wreck from across the highway, knowing it's yours, but feeling too far away to react. She hates me, I said, turning toward her. And you've let her hate me without ever saying a word. She doesn't hate you, she muttered. Yes, she does. And you know it. Silence again. Then she looked up, and her voice cracked a little. What do you want me to say, Eli? That I've been wrong? That I should have defended you? Yeah, I said. That would be a start. She shook her head slowly. You're not perfect either. I never claimed to be, I said. But I've put up with years of passive-aggressive crap from your mother. For you. Because I thought this was a marriage, not a hostage situation. She flinched at that. Good. I set the glass down. You didn't stand up for me. You didn't even look surprised. Her arms dropped to her sides. She's my mom. And I'm your husband. And tonight, when it mattered, you picked her. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't let the tears fall. I didn't pick anyone. That's the thing. Doing nothing? That's picking her. She said nothing. Just stood there, breathing like she'd run a marathon. I went upstairs. Our bedroom was dim, cool, quiet. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the corner of the room where the wallpaper peeled slightly, the one flaw in Leah's otherwise perfect home design. I used to tease her about it. Now it just felt symbolic. I thought about the years. Her corrections when I spoke. The way she'd brush off my stories in front of her family. The eye rolls. The subtle jabs. All things I excused in the name of keeping peace. But peace isn't real when it costs you respect. She didn't come up that night. I heard her moving downstairs, the flick of a light switch, the murmur of the TV turned low. I lay back on the bed, fully dressed, arms behind my head, and stared at the ceiling. Maybe I'd been wrong this whole time. Maybe I thought this was a bad season in a good marriage. But maybe the truth was uglier. Maybe it had been broken for a long time, and I'd just been too scared to look. My phone buzzed. Jared, you awake? Just found something interesting. Call me when you can. I stared at the screen. Then I typed back. Call me now. Jared called me 20 minutes later. I stepped outside to take it, standing barefoot on the cold back patio, the concrete damp under my feet. The sky was black. Still. The kind of quiet that presses on your chest. You're not going to like this, Jared said. His voice was too calm. That meant something serious. Go ahead. I started with the basic financials. Beverly's name is attached to 4 different LLCs. 2 of them are listed as nonprofits. She runs charity boards. Yeah, except these nonprofits don't exist. No websites, no staff, no physical addresses. Just paper trails leading back to a P.O. box in Charlottesville. I paced a little. So what? Fake charities. More than that. I found movement, big transfers, coming in from city grants, local business donations, even federal subsidies for one of them. The funds then vanish into holding companies. Real estate, in some cases. Personal spending in others. She's laundering money. Pretty cleanly. Yeah. But not perfectly. She slipped a few times. I rubbed my forehead. Jesus. That's not even the headline. I stopped pacing. There's more. He hesitated. 6 months ago, she hired a private investigator. Retired cop out of Roanoke. The guy's record is messy. Used to do custody cases, now he specializes in sensitive matters. What kind of sensitive? You. I froze. What? She hired him to follow you. Document your work hours. Your travel. Your online activity. Medical records. Credit reports. Hell, she even pulled your college transcripts. My stomach turned. I stared out at the empty backyard, the fence line barely visible in the dark. She's been building a file, Jared continued. My guess is leverage. If you ever caused problems, she'd be ready to paint you as unstable, unreliable, whatever she needed. And Leah. No sign her name's attached to anything. But she's not blind, Eli. Either she knew, or she didn't want to know. I didn't speak for a long time. You okay? Jared finally asked. No, I said honestly. But I will be. You want me to keep digging? Yeah. I want every document. Every dollar. I want to know what she's hiding and who she's hiding it with. Okay. Give me a day. Maybe less. Thanks. I hung up, phone still in my hand. I stood there until my skin prickled from the cold. She had hired someone to investigate me. Like I was a threat. Like I was disposable. And Leah had just told me to apologize. The next day, I worked from home. Leah moved around like nothing had happened. She made coffee, answered work calls, asked me if I needed anything from the store. I gave her one-word answers. She noticed, but didn't push. Around noon, I got Jared's file, encrypted folder, password protected, just like we used to do in college when we were passing sensitive data between jobs. The contents were staggering. PDFs, spreadsheets, photos. Amanda at a hotel 2 towns over with a man I'd never seen before. Same guy in multiple locations. Her car parked outside an Airbnb. Expense reports disguised as board meetings. Payments to that private investigator logged in quiet monthly withdrawals from one of her LLCs. She was laundering money, cheating on her husband, and trying to destroy me behind the scenes. All while wearing a cross around her neck and preaching about family values every Sunday dinner. I didn't feel shocked. I felt focused. I opened a new folder on my desktop and labeled it Finale. Then I made a plan. I'd invite them to dinner. One last time. Same table. Same polite smiles. But this time, I'd be the one bringing the wine. And the fire. They showed up at 6 on the dot. Leah wore a soft smile and a cashmere sweater like it was a peace offering. Beverly came dressed like she was headed to a fundraiser, pearl earrings, polished heels. Glenn followed behind, looking tired before a word had been said. I had the dining room set, candles lit, table clean. No food. Just glasses of wine already poured and a pitcher of water in the center. Beverly noticed right away. No roast tonight? She asked, lifting a brow. Something lighter, I said. Didn't want to overdo it. We sat. Small talk. Leah tried. Glenn mumbled something about golf. Beverly commented on the decor like she hadn't insulted it 3 months ago. I waited. When their glasses were half full, I stood up. I actually wanted to show you something before we eat. Leah looked up, confused. What? I've been working on a little family slideshow. I walked over to the TV, picked up the remote, and tapped play. The screen lit up with a photo, Beverly, entering a boutique hotel in Staunton, arm in arm with a man in a navy blazer. The timestamp in the corner was clear. A Tuesday afternoon. Leah blinked. Glenn frowned. What is this? Beverly asked. I didn't answer. The next slide, the same man, different day, same hotel. Then, restaurant receipts. Airbnb check-ins. Photos of her car parked overnight. Stop, she said sharply. I kept going. Bank statements now. Transfers from the Keene Foundation to dummy corporations. Thousands of dollars moved under fake consulting fees. A grant meant for youth housing redirected into a shell account in Montana. Leah stood now. Eli, what the hell is this? I looked at her. It's the truth. Next slide. Screenshots of private investigator reports. Surveillance logs. My name. My credit. My medical records. 6 months of tracking my life. You were spying on me, I said to Beverly. While cheating on your husband. While laundering money. Glenn stood, finally. You hired someone to follow Eli? She didn't answer. Her face was pale. Frozen. Leah looked between us, stunned. Is this real? It's all real, I said. I have every document. Every file. Beverly's voice cracked. You've lost your mind. No, I said. I finally found it. Glenn walked out. Said nothing. Didn't look back. Beverly turned to Leah, desperate now. Say something. Leah looked at her for a long time. Then at me. How did you even get all this? I had help. She swallowed. You planned this. After you told me to apologize for getting slapped? Yeah, I planned it. Beverly slammed her glass down. You think this changes anything? I think it changes everything. She grabbed her purse and stormed out. Leah followed slowly, stunned, unsure who to defend. I didn't stop them. I just sat back down and took a sip of wine. It tasted better than it ever had before. The next morning, the house was quiet. Not the tense, heavy kind of quiet we'd grown used to, but the calm after a storm. Nothing left to destroy. Leah sat at the kitchen table, still in her pajamas, staring at her phone. She didn't look up when I walked in. Just said, she called me 27 times last night. I poured coffee without responding. She says you're trying to ruin her. I sipped. I didn't have to try very hard. Leah finally looked at me. Her face was pale, tired, drained. You humiliated her. She humiliated herself. You planned it. You waited for the perfect moment to take her down. She slapped me, Leah, I said, setting the mug down gently. In front of your whole family. And you told me to apologize. I didn't know she hired someone to spy on you. But you didn't ask questions when things didn't add up. You didn't stand up for me. Not once. She looked down. I didn't think it was that serious. And that's the problem. Silence stretched. Then she asked, so what now? I'm filing, I said. Calm. Clear. I'm done. Her head snapped up. You're divorcing me? I'm divorcing the version of you who stood next to me while I got slapped and stayed seated. The version who never once asked if I was okay. You don't think you're overreacting? I laughed once, short and sharp. You've said that before. Every time your mother insulted me or tried to belittle what I do. Every time I said I felt small, you told me I was being sensitive. She stood now, voice rising. You blindsided me, Eli. You didn't even talk to me first. I talked to you for years, I said. You just never listened. Tears welled in her eyes, but I didn't flinch. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. I still love you, she whispered. I looked at her long and hard. I believe you. But it doesn't matter anymore. You're really doing this? Yes. Do you even want to try? No, I said. Because you never really chose me. Not once. That stopped her. Her lip trembled. She took a step forward, then froze, like she realized I wasn't going to catch her this time. I gave you everything, she said. No, I replied. You gave me what your mother allowed. And I took it, for too long. Silence again. Then, very quietly, she said, so that's it. Yeah, I nodded. That's it. I turned and walked to the bedroom, pulled the suitcase from the closet, packed only what I needed. Clothes, laptop, documents. When I came back downstairs, she was still standing in the same place, arms crossed over her chest like they were the only thing holding her together. You're not even going to fight for us? I paused. I did. For 5 years. Alone. Then I opened the door. As I stepped outside, I didn't look back. Because there was nothing left worth seeing. The story broke 2 days after I left. I was in a rental apartment on the other side of town. 1 bedroom. Bare walls. Quiet. I'd slept maybe 4 hours the night before, not from stress, but from clarity. My phone buzzed just after 9 a.m. Jake, turn on the news. Channel 8. I did. There she was, Beverly Keene, plastered across the screen in her perfect scarf and perfect lipstick, stepping out of a black sedan and shielding her face from cameras. Local philanthropist under investigation for fraud, embezzlement. They had the receipts. The shell companies. The fake nonprofits. The redirected grant money. They'd even tracked down her mystery man from the hotel photos. I sat down slowly, a cup of black coffee cooling in my hand. She was done. I didn't post anything. I didn't send the file to reporters. I didn't need to. All I did was stop protecting her. By the afternoon, the story had hit the state news cycle. Her board positions were suspended pending review. One of the charities issued a statement denying any connection. The rest went silent. I got a text from Glenn that night. Glenn, thank you. That was all it said. Leah showed up at my apartment a week later. She looked different. Smaller. No makeup. Hoodie. Hair pulled back like she hadn't cared for days. She stood in the doorway and didn't ask to come in. Can we talk? She said. I let her inside, mostly out of politeness. She stood awkwardly near the kitchen counter. She lost everything. I know. She's being investigated. IRS. Maybe criminal charges. I know. She looked at me, something like panic behind her eyes. How much of this is your fault? That made me smile, just a little. All of it, if you ask her. Leah didn't smile. I didn't think you were capable of this. I didn't think you were capable of watching me get slapped and doing nothing. That shut her up. She paced for a second, arms crossed. I don't even know who I am anymore. I think that's the first honest thing you've said to me in years. She turned sharply. So what? You just burn it all down and move on. I didn't burn anything. I just showed people the truth. She swallowed. I've been talking to a therapist. Good. She hesitated. I still love you. I nodded. I know. Do you still love me? I didn't answer right away. Finally, I said, I love the version of you that stood up for me. But she hasn't been around in a long time. Leah's lip trembled. So we're really done? We've been done. This is just the part where we stop pretending. She walked to the door, then paused. I never meant for it to be like this. I looked at her for what felt like the last time. No one ever does. And then she left. No hug. No tears. Just the soft click of the door. By the end of the month, Beverly was completely disgraced. Her name was removed from every board. Her assets were frozen pending audit. Her lover had vanished, likely running from his own exposure. Her friends dropped her faster than press statements could be written. Last I heard, she moved into a rental unit near a strip mall. She'd lost the house, the car, the help. She'd gone from running charity galas to clipping coupons. And I slept better than I had in years. Because now, for once, the consequences didn't fall on the person who did the right thing. They landed exactly where they belonged. It didn't feel like freedom at first. It felt like silence. The kind that fills a room after years of noise. After the shouts, the passive-aggressive comments, the endless need to explain myself to people who never wanted to understand me. But slowly, the silence became something else. Peace. I didn't realize how much space her voice took up in my head. Beverly's judgment. Leah's defense of her. My own second-guessing. Once it was all gone, there was room for thought again. For air. For sleep. I signed the divorce papers on a Thursday. No drama. Just a pen on paper and a notary nodding quietly as I handed everything back. No fight over assets. No lingering touches. Just the legal death of something that had died years earlier. Afterward, I walked out into the parking lot, looked up at the sky, and smiled. Not because I was happy. Because I was whole. Jake and I met for drinks that weekend. He raised a glass as I sat down. To the quiet ones. I smirked. We're the loudest in the end. We talked for hours. Not just about Beverly. Or Leah. But about life. About how easy it is to get swallowed by someone else's narrative if you don't stop and check whose story you're living. He asked me what came next. I told him the truth. I didn't know. And I like that. I wasn't building towards someone else's approval anymore. Not trying to prove I was worthy of being kept. I wasn't someone's son-in-law or backup plan or project. I was just me. I started running again. No destination. No pace to beat. Just the rhythm of my feet on pavement and the breath in my lungs. I cooked for myself. Badly, at first. But I liked the quiet in the kitchen. The clatter of pans, the smell of garlic, the satisfaction of feeding myself without trying to impress anyone. I redecorated the apartment. Thrift store finds. Plants I actually remembered to water. A bookshelf full of the stuff I'd forgotten I loved. More crime, old philosophy paperbacks, dog-eared poetry. And I stopped explaining myself. To anyone. If people asked what happened, I just said, I outgrew who I had to be. Because that's the truth. I didn't lose a marriage. I outgrew a role I was never meant to play. One evening, I walked past the old neighborhood. The big houses. The manicured lawns. The perfect porches. I didn't feel anger. Or longing. Just distance. Like remembering a dream that no longer felt real. I heard Beverly had moved again. Some condo out of state. A friend of Jake's said she was trying to start over. That she'd joined a community church. Volunteered again. Tried to rewrite her story. That's fine. I'm not her editor anymore. Leah texted once more. Just a simple message. I hope you're okay. I never replied. Not because I hated her, but because I didn't need anything from her anymore. Life didn't explode into something cinematic. There was no grand new romance. No instant transformation. Just slow, deliberate rebuilding. I wasn't trying to be impressive. I was trying to be honest. And that was enough. I wake up now, and the world feels quiet. But not empty. Just mine.